Hello, Capricorn. How's everybody doing today? Really looking forward to getting our reading started. There's so many messages that have been coming through. We're right on the precipice of some really great stuff because today, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere is the solstice, and tomorrow's the end of retrograde. So what a great time. And of course, it's Father's Day here in America as well. So there's some interesting energies that we're going to be looking at for your sign, kind of all culminating, which should make a pretty powerful reading. Welcome everybody. Give me a second here to get set up. I want to put a couple of links up as I'm getting started here. I was writing to the last minute, which is why I was taking a couple of extra minutes here. So let me open this up. I'll give it a chance to open up on my computer and we'll talk a little bit while I'm doing that. First of all, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be looking at Capricorn today. I always fashion my readings so that they can be used for 6 to 8 weeks. So what you're seeing right now, especially when I looked at the channeled messages here in a moment, this will be like for the here and the now. And then we'll focus on everything after that, basically taking us through the month of July. So I show up a little bit early so that you have a chance to really organize your life and get everything together. And a big proponent of free will, so it gives you a chance to focus on what you can do, okay? So you can always use this for sun, rising, moon, Venus, and any aspect of your chart that you know. You ever just need to show up, especially on days like today when we're having some celestial events, you can come at the beginning and just stay around as long as the messages are resonating with you. The way that I read is that anybody that shows up or watches later, you're going to receive a message. So you can come to as many of my readings as you'd like for that reason. And the way that this is organized is in a few major parts. I'll start with channeled messages, then I'll move along to the Celtic Cross. It takes on whatever form it wants or needs to take, because I always expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. Then we'll do a quick recap, a mini review, just because some people join late. Also, I see new things after I've looked at all the cards. And then we'll go into what I call the soul path, where we can explore maybe a big challenge or a big opportunity. Hey, Apollo. We might bring him up a little bit later. He was just napping. After that, we will do a meditation, and there's always a card at the end where I will answer one of your silent questions, maybe something that I didn't have a chance to do. It's my sort of equivalent to pick a card, because I feel like we don't need to pick between all the stacks. You can just sort of psychically send me a message and I'll pick up on that energy. So those are the main things to kind of focus on today. If you haven't already followed me on social media, feel free to do that. I'm going to pin a link in a second where you can find me. I'll quickly put this up and you can pause it later on replay if you'd like to. Pretty much everywhere I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh, just my name. On Twitter, I'm Ashbaugh. I'm going to have a collective reading coming up this week. And there's actually a couple coming up. We're going to do a bonus reading, which will have a special focus. And I'll have my patrons and channel members here that support me vote on what they want. I'll be posting that this week. And then I have an all-inclusive collective the following weekend. So let's see, I think that program should be open. So let me just put out the links here so that you have them, a couple of quick programming notes, and then we're going to get started. So here are the upcoming bonus readings. Of course, I'll be reading on Monday and Thursday as well. So if you want to show up for Aquarius and Pisces, those are the next couple, and then these are the dates for the following ones. So all that information is on my website. Let me post a link again for all of you, just to have, if you need to get to my website or get more information, here's everything that I just talked about right there, and I'm going to pin the link. So there you go. And let's bring Apollo up for a second to say hi. He was taking a nap. I know everybody likes to see him. Today we're going to be talking about the sun. So this little resplendent being is someone that I know I named after the sun god. So much love and light to everyone. He was just napping. And I gave him a little snack so he could come out and say hi. All right, I'm going to put him down because we have a lot to talk about, but I know sometimes people get sad if they don't see Apollo at the beginning. So this is my puppy. All right, let's get started and talk about your totems and everything that's coming through. I had a really beautiful dream where I saw tiger lilies and daylilies. It was really a combination of the two. So you're going to have a triple totem today. It's tiger lilies, daylilies, and then the sun, because we have the solstice. Also, when I started thinking about it, it was all like oranges and yellows that were in my dreams the past few nights. So it's really the energy of these three different totems. Let me bring up the images and it'll kind of make sense here as we talk about it. If you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome. And the reason that I start with nature is just really been pulled into earth magic and energy this year, because It's something that connects all of us, particularly like flowers and animals. So it gives me one more tool to kind of see things for us. So this was the specific flower that I first saw in my dreams. It's a daylily, and daylilies are, basically they will bloom for a while. This is the season where you'll see a lot of them. They are a bulb, they are a perennial, they come back every year. And for a month or so, there's a lot of different buds on them. The other, like they'll bloom for a month or so. The other one that I saw was a tiger lily. This one kind of blooms at once and then dies. So the daylily lasts a lot longer. The tiger lily is this big burst. It's very tall and it's kind of like a punctuated thing, but they have some similar things. So again, the daylily, a little bit more orange, fewer spots on it. It's not as tall. And instead of coming up on a long stalk, it kind of has those nice leaves that come out from it. And then the tiger lily, we'll see if I can get a picture of how tall it is. Here's an image here where you can sort of see it. It oftentimes is the one that's popping up in a garden, and you can kind of see it really, really tall. And the lilies kind of come out in a sort of circular pattern around the stalk. So we're going to talk about the two of those totems. And then, of course, when I was just looking at the sun, it all makes sense. They're all the same colors. Basically, it was all orange that I was seeing. And I realized that this was kind of nodding to the eclipse, not the eclipse, but the solstice that just came through today. So let's talk about everything and bring it into focus here. Okay, so tiger lilies to me are an amazing energy to see. We're going to focus on those. Those are the tall ones. They are summer perennials, in case you're a plant geek like myself. They have bright orange petals with little black spots, thus the name tiger lily. And they're bold, they're conspicuous, and they really stand out. And they're coming through to remind you of that sort of energy of the tiger. It reminds me a little of the strength card, even though we normally see like a lion on it. Depending on which deck you look at, there's different cats that you're going to see. So anytime sort of a feline energy comes through, it reminds me of that. So you really want to focus on your strength and power. And one of the things that the strength card reminds us is to not allow other people to control us, to not allow other people to put words in our mouth, to basically find a nice balance between listening to what someone's saying and then following what our heart's telling us to do. So all of that's coming through for you. And I would say what you want to focus on healing, because we're looking at the color orange, and it's really also moving into yellow. It depends on what color tiger lily, but I really saw orange and black. So I would say focus on the second or the sacral chakra. That's going to help you with expression through your life. Not so much about the power center. This is more like, this is who I am. I'm not afraid for you to see me for who I am. I don't have to edit who I am, etc. It's also about intimacy. So in partnerships, when I need to focus on love, I will. And today we're going to focus on intimacy and love. If it doesn't naturally come up in the spread, probably that will be one of my soul path focal points. But intimacy, I like to remind people, is not just sex. It's not just touch. It's emotional. It's what you feel in your heart. It's what you think in your head. So it's intellectual, it's emotional, and yes, it's physical. So you should be able to work with all of those. And I forget which intimacy therapist said that, but if you're just working with touch, you're missing all the other areas in your body that can really kind of connect. And the more spiritual you are, you realize you have to kind of connect on all the chakras. So yes, we're focusing on sacral, but if you only work with the lower three chakras, which is what traditionally you would see in like romance novels or whatever, like we need to kind of pull it all the way up through the top and through the crown chakra. Express your dreams and desires. This is one way to actually get close to someone, is to say what makes you afraid, what makes you inspired, what you like, what you don't like, especially if you are going to talk about physical intimacy. So communication is a big thing this month, and intimacy and connecting on multiple channels, not just touch. Hopefully that makes sense. The other thing here, as I was saying, is to speak, act, decide, and think for yourself. The strength card reminds us of that, because sometimes that can indicate a maternal energy or a boss or a business energy in our life that's kind of like pulling us back a little bit, trying to make us do something. There is a domination that's a part of that. And what you're doing is reclaiming. So there's reclamation that's coming through. It's sort of like, I'm no longer going to only do what people expect or only do what, what sort of I've been pressured into in the past. So speak, think, act, decide for yourself, and really focus on self-confidence. So for those of you that may have had someone in your life that made you doubt yourself, this has been a theme that I've been seeing a lot of. It's going to be important for you to allow yourself to grow there. Let's talk a little bit about the daylilies. So these are the ones that have the longer leaves, and they last a little bit longer. Because of this sort of, I guess, to me, it reminded me of a fire ember. So I kind of would compare the tiger lily to like crush, or the heat of the moment passion, or something that is ephemeral that only lasts for a little bit of time. And I look at a daylily as something that can continue to burn in the long run. So if we take it out of the sort of physical and say that this could be like a passion in our life that makes us want to get up every day and do something. So if it's not your job, there might be something else that you're working for or toward. Maybe you're going to school so that there's something else in the long run. Maybe you work so that you can have your family have everything that you didn't have. Maybe you're trying to prove things to yourself. Whatever the long-term goals are, that's the daylily, that's the ember. That's also something that you can rekindle because those embers, then you can put new wood on top of that, new things can grow. So what is your daylily? What is your ember? What is your passion? That's what I kind of want to see here, that longer lasting joy, that longer lasting passion. And it's the thing that you can rekindle or start again. So if there's something where you feel like that has burnt out, this is coming through and saying, no, there's still a chance to go back and work on that. There's still a chance to do something that you love. And it doesn't always passion doesn't have to be invested just in a person. Passion can be invested in something else, in improving yourself, in a project that you want, in healing others in your life, etc. Focus on the goals on the horizon, since for those of you especially that have an ascendant in Capricorn, what we're looking at right now will be how you're going to get organized with business. Capricorn is cool because no matter what, you're cognizant, you're thinking about things, and you're practical. For those of you that have it, we're going to break it down. I don't always do sun, rising, moon, but I'm going to do that today for Capricorn because we're going to talk about goals here. So for those of you that are Capricorn ascendant, which is what I am, or rising, then this is a really good time to look way in the distance, like at the rising sun, and think about how do I get there? How did I get where I'm at? How am I tracking? What do I need to do to realign to the long-term goal? Not getting so wrapped up in today's high or low, more in like, well, this is bringing me closer or further away from that. So I'm going to do this to make sure that I'm on track. So Capricorn ascendant, looking at the long-term goal. Capricorn, if it's in your moon, is so challenging because what can happen is the emotional stuff going on around you, you're analyzing it too much. And the analysis probably should go more towards the goals in your life. So shift it a little bit and get excited, get your energy of emotions about like what you can do in the long term. And don't get so focused on like why someone isn't calling you back or why this person is acting this way. The people around you could be a distraction. And so you really want to get more focused on the long-term goals. Even if it isn't a relationship, today's stuff could just be a distraction as well. So if it is in your sun sign, I really feel like things are going to be okay. This is about getting the big picture, not just on the horizon. So take a look at everything and just sort of figure out how much you need to react to something. It really, I guess it's kind of similar for all of these, but it's just sort of getting a temperature check and figuring out like, do I want to put this much energy into the love? Do I want to put this much into work? Do I want to put this much in here? It's really kind of like prioritization, I guess, is the thing that I would say for sun. For moon, it's not getting distracted. And for ascendant, it's to focus on the long-term goal. So big picture for sun, no distractions for moon, and long-term for the ascendant. Hopefully that helps. I don't always break it down like that, but that's kind of what's coming through. Okay. So still, what came to me was the horizon and the sun because of the sun today. So align everything to your long-term goals. And I think that's going to help you out. And what a great day to be talking about all of this, because in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in summer solstice, which basically first day of summer, longest, I say longest, just the most sunshine of the year today. And even if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's still a day of change. You're going to start to see you're at the shortest day, so it starts to get longer. So no matter where you're at, this is a portal. It's a powerful portal. So yeah, right now with this solstice energy coming through, things are going to start to grow in your life. And the sun is shining on things. Things are going to start to be revealed for you. So make this count. It's so cool that today is also Father's Day, even though I hate invented holidays. I think that, when we look at tarot, the sun is divine masculine. It's a little baby. It's also the divine masculine energy. So it's a time to birth. It's a time to take action. And it's also a time to heal relationships with men in our life, whether it's brother, father, friend, teacher, etc. So if like me, your father's no longer living, then what you want to do is focus on how to connect to, you can, of course, honor grandparents and parents who have passed. You can also honor other people that may fit that role in your life. Maybe you're not close to your dad. Maybe there's an uncle or a friend that kind of took on that paternal role. Today's a great time to honor that. If you don't have that energy in your life, doesn't matter if you identify as male or female, we all can connect to the divine energies. This is a time to take action. Take action on goals, on projects, and amen, Mercury goes direct tomorrow. So with that, that means that, yes, there's going to be a shadow for a week or so, but you can start to bring things into fruition. You can feel a little bit less weighted down by all of that. So we've got Father's Day. We have this wonderful summer solstice, or we could just say solstice so that Southern Hemisphere doesn't feel like it's left out. And then and all of this is happening right on the cusp of Mercury going direct, which is great. So I just woke up, felt better today, and I hope you guys feel better as well. All right, let me just put on my glasses as I read these last few. So the next thing that came through in dreams was really interesting. And sometimes I like to just talk about what I see, and then I'll talk about the messages. So it was almost as if you were, I guess, like a pattern or cut out of something. But what I saw was it was almost as if there was a split in the center, and I saw the two pieces separated. A little grotesque, but also just very symbolic, because I wasn't looking at the insides or anything. I just saw, it was just, imagine something two-dimensional, and then I saw the two pieces of you split. And to me, it was talking about, for some of you, it felt like you were trying to pull yourself in two directions. You could be pulled between two people. You might be spreading yourself too thin. And there was sort of like this guide / doctor that was trying to come through and say, don't do this. And then the you in spirit, you weren't listening. And there was so many types of help that were coming through. There was emotional help. There was actually financial help. Someone said, I will give you the resources you need so you don't do this. There was a better way to move forward, and there was some stubbornness. Now, this could represent you or someone in your life that you care a lot about that is stubborn like this. But I feel like you were literally torn. That's what my guides were showing me. Torn between two people, between two decisions, between right versus wrong, between what's healthy and unhealthy. So we want to be not torn this month. And as I look at the cards, I'm going to try to help you like reassemble that. But a couple of notes coming through with this really vivid image that it woke me up in my sleep. And I was sitting there for probably half an hour thinking that was weird. What does that mean? So I just typed some things early this morning, then went back to sleep. So again, you were in two pieces or two parts. To me, it felt like it was right along the stomach. So it was like stomach and above, and then the lower part of your body. This could also be you focusing, like we talked about, maybe just on lower 3 chakras where you need to focus on the upper, or vice versa. Balancing in the chakras, making sure that you're taking care of mind, body, spirit, making sure that you know that you're looking at a holistic view of your health in your life. There were warnings to not do this. Boundaries are important. Also, just work-life balance, not making sure that you're not sort of giving too much of your time, energy, or resources in any one direction. All of that. And then the stubbornness was hard because it felt like no matter how much anybody was talking to you or to the person in your life that's not listening, that it wasn't helping. So open up, listen, sleep on it. Just sleep on decisions. I think it'll be important. Try not to make things harder than they need to be. Balance is key. So we'll look in where we can find balance for you. And then again, just open yourself up to receive. And I was thinking of the ace cards, like Ace of Cups and Ace of Pentacles, because I wanted to look at like love and abundance. So there are often two that I put together in the highest forms and just sort of like allow for that to come in. Finally, I just feel like there was something around accountability and visibility. So because the sun is such a big force here with like the bright colored tiger lily, daylily, and just the sun itself, anything that needs to come to a close will. If you didn't resolve it in Mercury retrograde, don't worry. I still see a karmic cycle ending. So if there's any sort of, I don't know why the word came to me, but some of you might have some damage control that you need to do. So something may come to a head where you needed to say something or do something and it didn't happen, but you're going to have a chance to do it now anyway. So in this moment, just be honest and open. Openness is a big piece of the sort of message overall today. So stay open, be open, keep an open mind. And I think that it's going to bring you in a good place mentally and spiritually and energetically. Okay. So those are your very, very powerful messages about really the sort of solar energy that wanted to come through, the relationship energy, the intimacy opportunities, the balance in your life, and the sort of karmic cycles. So let me stack up these cards. If you missed anything, don't worry. I always review it at the midpoint and through the lens of the additional messages that we see in the tarot cards. So I'm sure we'll get some more things here. One thing that I'm thinking about, even as I'm stacking up everything, is to me, the sun is also the sort of symbol of, like I said, if you think of it in tarot, you see usually like a little baby on a horse, right? It's also the glue in our solar system. It brought order to everything. And then also when we think of the card, it's like this new beginning. So you have a chance this month to kind of like reorganize, restructure, and reinvigorate, bring new life into things that divine masculine energy can create. In a different way, it brings about action. So divine feminine is receptive and nurturing. Divine masculine is active, but still is creating. You know, we talked yesterday with Sagittarius about using fire, and I talked about Hephaestus, which is like the metal worker of the gods, and Pele, which is a Hawaiian goddess of creation. We still have the fire today. It's just coming through in the sun, in the solar energy for you. So let's see how we can work with that. Thinking of my dog, who's now in the other room eating and drinking or whatever, I would say Apollo carried the sun chariot. So the chariot goes back to those energies around control. So let's see how control is factoring in your life as well. All right. So let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through. I'll be using True Heart Tarot, which, by the way, thank you so much. This was one that was recommended to me and is also a direct result of everybody's kindness and support here. If you'd like to show support on replay, you can do it with the applaud button. If you'd like to show it in real time, you can either become a channel member and join, or you can give back. And whenever you guys give back with super chat or super stickers, I use it to basically create some new supplies, get some new supplies. So thank you so much. This is where it goes. I put it right back into the cards. Again, sun, rising, moon, Venus, any aspect of your chart that you know. And if you don't know, just stick around because, again, I read intuitively for whoever's present. This animal totem deck is also new, so thank you for that. Let's see if we're going to have two because they're stuck, so we'll see what this is. So we have the giraffe and the scarab beetle. We have another scarab beetle there, which is really interesting. All right, so let's take a look at everything and see what's coming through for you. All right, let's begin with your catalyst. Just a reminder that the catalyst is a way for you to basically stay on track, not get distracted, and to really be in your most powerful state. So we have the acceptance card here, and the card was reversed. So for some of you, there is just this opportunity to really be at peace with what's going on in your life, to find a way to look at the higher blessing associated with it as well. And I think that's really, really important as well. We see the banana here, which, by the way, that's one of my favorite fruits. Good for potassium, by the way, if you need extra potassium or if you make any sort of healthy shakes, it's a great thing to have as well. But what I'm seeing here, I love Ganesha and I love any of the sort of Eastern gods because I wish I had the ability to have multiple hands and arms to get everything done. The multitasking and the balancing energy was coming through as I was looking at the four palms and 4 arms here. But acceptance, how can I find or make peace with where I'm at, what's going on, and how this is a part of a bigger sort of path for me? Why did I call these things in? How can I accept my role, my responsibility, and how can I move past this if it's something that's blocking me? Okay, let's look at your center card. This was definitely what I was talking about with control. I talked about the chariot earlier, and we have the emperor here, which to me is one of the ultimate symbols of power and control. I like this card because it differs from the norm. We see the Egyptian Ankh, a symbol of power. We have a crystal ball there with the third eye. And we have someone here who's actively walking, not sitting down. Also, notice the solar energy behind him, the rays of the sun. So when I'm looking at this, know who you are, keep an eye on the big picture, and own your power. It's basically everything that we were just talking about in all of the channeled messages that's coming through with this. Be an active leader. I like it when I see a king or a queen card where they're moving, not seated. And again, having your pulse on what's going on. Because when I see that eye there in the crystal, that's telling me like, I know, I see, I understand what's going on. I'm not just sitting up in my throne. So this is definitely about being hands-on, taking your power and channeling it. And we have the solar energy right there, front and center, which is great. Welcome to the new member, by the way. Okay, so we have the 8 of Wands card here on sort of a clarifying note here because it's crossing it. I like this 8 of Wands because it really shows the sort of cognitive piece of this, keeping your mind on what's going on, not getting distracted. In some decks, the 8 of Wands can be a communal card, so opening up to accepting things. And we talked a little bit earlier about sometimes being willing or able to allow people to give you something, to be receptive to all of that. I know it's not easy for all of us. The other thing that I look at when I'm looking at this is the ability to set in motion. Your thoughts set in motion new things in your life. So it all starts here and here. What happens around us is oftentimes a sort of like it's an after effect. And sometimes we're looking at that as where the power is. So this is just reminding you the power is here. So keep your thoughts collected. If you are having a hard time managing some of this, delegate. I like to remind people that, you know, with wands, you can add and subtract. So you could take a couple things off your plate and still be successful and have like 6 of wands energy. So you've got a lot on your mind. You're focusing on it. You're doing well. If you're going to add more to the equation, you may need to delegate, and you have a leadership card underneath. So see where you're at, see how you feel, see if it makes sense for you. But otherwise, I like 8 of Wands. For business, it's really good because it shows a predictable sort of energy. You can see several months into the future. Capricorn, you like that. You like to be able to sort of understand what's coming next. So do the planning, embrace some of that if it's coming in. The big question is, how do you feel about it? Because we do have a Tower card here in the near future, which could be a reset. Sometimes we get to a point where everything's exactly what we wanted it to be, and then it can feel anticlimactic. So where's your heart space? Because the Ace of Cups is reversed. Have you achieved something which you're proud of, but you're no longer feeling? We need to find the balance. Success is right at the center, however. Emperor, 8 of Wands, love that. All right, let's look at deep past. We have the Hermit card. And I really like this Hermit as well. With this particular Hermit, we see someone sort of looks almost like a crossroads to me. And the question here is, are you ready to come out of that shell? Are you ready to reveal the light that you've discovered, the light of intellect, the light in your own soul, etc.? Because you've got what it takes to do the next path of this journey, but there's sort of like a revelation that needs to happen there. Ooh, are you all there? Did I lose you? We had a little bit of a power outage there. Are you back? Hopefully you are. Just for a second, everything went dim. That's really interesting. Type in the comments if you can still hear and see me. Hopefully you can. Okay, good. I'm not sure what that was, but I'm glad you're all there. Okay, so the Hermit's definitely speaking up in real time. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was crazy. Please, spirit guides, let's keep the internet going. If we do have an outage, just stay tuned. Sometimes it will come back. And if I need to, I'll open up a separate stream, but that was wacky. Anyway, glad that you're back. Let me just increase the dimmer on my computer because the display just went a little bit dim. Okay, good to see you guys. All right, it's time to come out of the shell, I believe. This is time now. Thank you, by the way, for that really awesome super sticker, and I just saw that as well. Anyway, time to come out of your shell. You have the power, you have the energy to make this happen. Spirit just spoke in real time, sort of saying like, come out of it, snap out of it, right? Like Moonstruck. So are you ready to do that? It feels like the time is here, the time is now, all right? That was fun. One thing with the Hermit card to remember is you always have the light which you seek. The discovery of the Hermit is that you are stronger than you think. You are smarter than you think. You are more capable than you think. Sometimes we have to go within to make that discovery, to basically find the fire, to find the heat. And that was what we were talking about today. And it's why the lights just flickered. For those of you that are intuitive, I'm sure you've had this happen before. Sometimes when things are really strong, when there's a really strong reading, one time I even asked for spirit to give me a sign and the power went out. So stuff like that happens from time to time. It's always cool to sort of like tap into the real energy of what's going on. So yay. I had a feeling today was going to be powerful. All right, so Four of Cups in reverse. Some of you are just starting to see things for what they truly are. I like that we see the hidden blessing here, or the cosmic pattern that's going on. So this you could just imagine as a deity kind of peeking through and saying, are you getting it? Are you getting it yet? It's your higher self. Sometimes we're so focused on the here and the now that we miss the bigger picture. I like that as he lifts that cup up, we see the rose underneath it. The rose is a wonderful symbol of death and rebirth. Death itself has the white rose on its banner. The rose also reminds us that through pain, there can also be beauty. I have a cool deck, the Little Prince Tarot, based on the story The Little Prince. And there's a Three of Swords that just came up the other day where you will see a rose sort of intertwined between the three swords. So for you, this is finding the blessings, finding the acceptance in what's happened and how you can blossom, how you can bloom again. There's something better waiting. There's something bigger on the horizon. Also, a lot of times there could be something right under your nose that you're not, or right under your eyes that you're not looking at. And this is a reminder to sort of like wake up like we just did when the lights flickered on and off, okay? Emotionally, with the Ace of Cups energy here reversed, the biggest thing that you want to be focusing on is, how do you feel? How are you feeling about anything that's going on, like your work situation, your relationship, your health? Tune into that, because when you can get into that place of I am healthy, I'm happy, and I'm ready to receive, the satellite dish is absolutely capable of bringing in more. But when the satellite dish is pointed in the wrong direction, it's not picking up on what it should. So sometimes we point even though like cups is emotional, it's also like a satellite. So if our emotions are draining or drained, or if someone's draining us, we can't pick up on new things because all we really feel is that. So the most important thing you could do for your own health and happiness this month is to get the emotional state where it needs to be. If that means cutting out a toxic relationship, by all means do that. If it means talking to a therapist so that you can get an objective point of view, by all means do that. If it's to give yourself permission to do something that you love, absolutely do that. Because when we were talking about the daylily in particular, that's the ember that I was talking about, kind of like imagining that you could put something to kindle that and blow a little bit of air on that and create a new flame. That's really what this is. What is your heart's desire? The Ace of Cups. I want to take it from this to this. And when you do that, it's like lifting up the cup here. You're going to be able to see something new. Okay? Give yourself permission to express your dreams, your desires, your passions, your fears, and to be happy, to do something fun. All right, Tower reversed. If it's going to show up, I want to see it reversed because it means that you're taking an active role in making the changes happen in your life, okay? It's in the near future. Some of you might be moving. The Tower sometimes gets a bad rap. I'm someone who can find positive in sort of any card. So let's talk about the positives of a Tower reversed. This is saying, I want to change my living situation. I want to change my job, but maybe I can change it at the existing place that I'm employed. So I'm going to have a conversation with my boss about goal planning, about why I'm here and not here. I'm going to make some changes in my health so that I'm happier and stronger. I am in control because the Emperor card is at the center. I, as Capricorn, am going to think through how to make this work. I am capable of doing that. I am practical, but I can't let go of the emotional side of me just because I'm practical. So think it through and then feel it out and then make the changes that you need to. And you decide to be an active force of change. You are the Emperor and you are the Tower reversed. You are not beholden to the sort of crazy storm that often makes the Tower fall apart. You are the hands that are taking the pieces of the Tower apart and then rebuilding it into something else. So the Tower reversed is very much an architectural card. I want to knock down this wall. I want to take this material and I want to build something else. That's the Tower reversed. The Tower is, oh my God, the lights are flickering, the earth is shaking. What do I do? So what we're going to do is put you in the architectural piece, which is, what am I going to do about this? I see something coming because I'm intuitive, because I've got my eye on what I need to focus on. What am I going to do about that? This is a very pragmatic energy with the Tower reversed. So think it through, feel it through, and then take some action. Yes, change has to happen. So it's in the near future state for you. So the biggest thing for you to think about is, what do I want to hold on to? What do I want to release? And what in my life has been hard to kind of put together? I think of Humpty Dumpty. Sometimes if we were to make a children's version of the Tower card, that's probably what it would be. Because at some point you can't put it back together, right? So there are some people in your life, like I mentioned Humpty Dumpty, but there was someone in your life that seems to be fragmented. And they didn't want to be put back together in my vision. I couldn't even find the other part of them. I just saw like one part of them, which was also weird. Again, my dreams can be way out there and I try to bring them into something that makes sense here. But it feels like to me that there might be things in your life that don't need or want to be put back together. There may be a part of yourself that you just need to release from the past. You're going to create something different. You can be whole in a different way. So the message that I get from that dream is also that you're already whole, but maybe you're holding on to a part of yourself that doesn't need to be there as well, okay? I saw someone in the comments talking about foundation in their house, which is also really important. So if you're living in an apartment or a house right now, one of the things that you want to look at is the structural integrity of it. Here in California, one of the things that might make sense is just to make sure that, that they were, the house has been supported for earthquakes. Retrograde, not retrograde, but there's something. Basically going back and making sure that it has been basically upgraded to sustain an earthquake. Also looking at if you're anywhere in the world and you just are starting to see cracks in the wall, or maybe you're seeing some weird impressions in the ceiling, that could be something in the foundation that needs to be taken care of. It can also be plumbing issues or electrical issues that were, I'm laughing because of the lights that flickered here. So yes, take a look at all the stuff beneath the hood, beneath the surface. Same thing with cars and other electronic equipment. It's just a good time to check up on it, okay? Okay, also, one last note. thinking kind of now of the hatching metaphor, because there was a turtle that came through the other day. Sometimes we outgrow our surroundings. So a relationship, a house, a job, even a course of study, sometimes it's just not who we are anymore. So it falls away for a reason, just like a snake would shed a skin, or a chick would come out of an egg. You have to get out of one thing to get into something else. So whatever's falling off, falling apart, moving away from you, it's so that you can grow. And that's the tower reversed. It's not a bad thing. Changes are necessary. Growth is necessary. You can't hide from it anymore. And that's why the tower is coming through. Some of you may be not settled in a place of like living, like you could be couch surfing because you're waiting for your house to be built. You're trying to find an apartment, or you're between jobs. So this is also just saying, do what you need to do to feel stable and steady in your own place. And if you do have a house and home, it's about cleaning it up a little bit, making sure that the environment's all right. Let's move on to the next card here. We have the Princess of Cups. All your Cups cards are reversed. So that definitely shows me that recovery, emotional recovery is important. We talked about intimacy when I was channeling earlier. So I think that it's important for you to be able to ask or receive help. Ask for help or receive help. That was the number one thing in my dream that seems so weird. Someone literally was offering you money to help you through something, and it felt like it was being pushed away. The money, of course, just like in cards, can just represent a resource. So it could have been time, energy, or money, but you were pushing it back. And with this card in reverse, it's also not receiving. So what is it in your life that makes you not want to receive what's coming through? Sometimes it's because you don't like the person that's trying to give you something. Sometimes it's because you're not attached to the overall outcome of where you're at. So if you're in a job and they want to give you more responsibility and you don't like it to start with, you're sort of thinking, I don't want to put more energy into this. So there's reasons sometimes we would turn the cup in reverse. So if you're turning something down or pushing something away, you're allowed to do that. That's boundaries. But go into and figure out, like, why is this happening and why are you sticking around if you're not receiving? Open yourself up to receive what you do want in your life. Because there are some great things that are coming through. This is still an attractive energy. So when I look at magnet cards, I like any of the court cards and cups, or the ace cards. I also like the lovers, or the four of wands. So you're still a magnet, but the magnet's pointing in a weird direction. So I want you to figure out how you can attract the things that you want. And are you happy? I feel like there's a lot of healing that can happen this month with respect to emotional health. Okay. By the way, congrats. I just saw someone that said that their son came out as transgender. That's really cool. And that's a great example of tower reversed energy, which is shedding old paradigms, which is also challenging us. For anybody that is a parent of a child that's LGBTQ+, then they're teachers. You know that, right? It's so interesting that I think that there's ascended souls that come through with the LGBTQ+ community, because it's such a challenge and it's such an exciting and a beautiful sort of journey too. They're coming through to teach us and to teach the parents. All children teach parents, but especially children that surprise you. So for that, I would just say be open and let them show who they are. That's what they're looking for. And what a cool time for this to happen too, in a retrograde. And it's going to kind of clear things out. So congrats to the parent that just is going through that. It's going to be fine. This is what makes you happy. This is what I would look at in any relationship in my life, whether it's my partner, myself, or my child. I would say, are you happy? If you're happy, I'm happy. I had a friend at a reunion that asked me that a while back. It was, like 6 or 7 years ago. But we were just catching up, and they said, are you happy? And I said, yeah, I think I am. Then the person didn't care what I was doing for my life, job, or if I was dating, or what was going on. It was just like, are you satisfied? Are you happy? And I think that's the important thing for you, Capricorn, because I'm reading for you. Are you happy? If you're happy, I'm happy for you. If you're not, then I want you to focus on finding your happiness this month. That's the most important thing. Okay. 10 of Swords in the environment. This is challenging. This could be what I was picking up. If it's not you, it could be someone around you that's at a point where they're ready to make a big shift in their life. So 10 of Swords, let's talk about it. I was actually just talking to a fellow psychic the other day about how I could see positive things in the 10 of Swords. So let's talk about the positives. To me, it's a full stop. It's a period. It's an end point. It typically marks the most challenging point that you could experience, which tells me that it can only go up from there. So that's the first and the most important thing, is that you've kind of hit the point where you know that it's not going to get worse. It's also telling you that you know what you don't want in your life. So if somebody breaks up with you, if you get fired, if there's a disappointment and it's like, oh, I didn't like that. Okay, now I'm ready for something better. And I know I don't want to do that again, whatever that was. So it's a lesson learned. It's an understanding of what makes you tick. It's also a chance to heal. Ultimately, it's all about healing. So there's always a new day or a new dawn. Usually with this, you would see, here we see like a rising moon. I'll take it. Usually we see the sun in the background. So that would tell me that there's a promise for something better to come through. For this one, since we have potentially more of a lunar energy, I would say there's some emotional stuff still to work through here that you want to pay attention to. Because it's in your environment, it's not permanent. It's also something that you can avoid. This is an argument you don't need to have. This is going down the rabbit hole, as I like to say, and sometimes like holding on to stuff like a vendetta, anger, frustration, feeling of failure, fear of failure, whatever it was. Definitely it's something that needs to be dealt with, but it's already falling away and falling out of your life. So like I said, this 10 of Swords is environmental, and it can only improve from here on out, because now you see it, now you know it, now you can heal. The 3 of Swords right above it is saying just that. And I saw someone comment that they don't normally like the 3 of Swords, but this one's a pretty cool one because it's telling you, you now see what you want, what you don't want. It's opened you up. And now you know how to avoid it as well. Notice all the strings attached. And with this reverse, it's saying there's no more conditional love. There's no more conditions on things. Don't beat yourself up so much. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't hold on to things so much. That's how I would transmute the energy of the 10 of Swords. Physically speaking, this can be chronic pain. It can be back problems. And as you see here, it can hit you all the way from the neck to the cranium and all the way up, even into the buttock, like lower back, hips, and the butt, because we have the tailbone there. So focusing on your chair, is it supporting you in the right way? The ergonomic setup of where you're working, because a lot of us are working from home, and the kitchen table wasn't meant to be the sort of brain of the house. You might need to actually get a proper table. And looking at your cushions, making sure that those are sometimes replaced on your bed, on your chairs, etc. Just getting everything supported so your spinal health is in the right sort of place. So I would say focus on definitely back, spine, and any chronic pain or fatigue that you have in your life. And of course, the standard disclaimer applies. If that's going on, hit pause, go to the doctor, take care of that. I'm just here to kind of show you where that might be. The other thing with 10 of Swords is it's spilled words. So if someone tries to trigger you, this month you're going to not take the bait. You're going to say, you sound upset. What's going on? This isn't like you. What you said hurts me, but I'm actually more concerned about your well-being. What's going on? And if not, then we need to just regroup later when you're in a better state of mind, because we can't talk right now. So delay, push back, and inquire to figure out why someone's trying to do it, because they're probably just angry and they're projecting and they want to get you angry. So you're just not going to allow that to happen. 3 of Swords can also show issues with hypertension, blood pressure, blood sugar, and heart health. So you want to take care of all of those things. Again, I'm a tarot reader, not a doctor, so work with your doctor with respect to all of that. It probably would be a good time to improve diet and exercise if any of these things are going on. All right, let's take a look at your outcome, which is, of course, something that you can always affect, just like the destiny cards that we'll look at in just a second. We have the 10 of Wands here, which we have a scarab beetle on top of this, which is like a dung beetle, which shows like the ability to take something and move past it. It's fertility, it's regrowth, it's a powerful symbol. That's why the Egyptians used it so much. Notice how we see the person right at the center of that the beetle. So that's telling me that for some of you, there's this chance to sort of come through and recreate. And I like to kind of talk about taking the trash or the manure or the not so good stuff in your life and use it as fertile ground to rebuild. And that's what this 10 of Wands is doing. Notice how the beetle's literally pushing all that garbage from the past to the side And it's like this cosmic healer. It's bringing you up to the surface. And then normally with the 10 of Wands, you would see someone carrying the load and going up a hill, and it's a lot that they have to carry. But we've learned the lessons here from the 10 of Swords and the 3 of Swords, which is I don't have to accept all of that pain, whether it's someone that said bad things to me or it's someone that made me feel bad. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to push that to the side. I'm going to focus on other things, and I'm going to take that and build from it. I'm still strong. I'm still there. So we got this powerful beetle coming out of the sort of past. It's very sort of judgment-like to me, like it's a phoenix rising, and really, really cool stuff here. Okay. Okay. Don't worry if you just joined. I saw some messages here. We're going to have a recap in the middle, so you joined at just the right time. We're going to look at the expanded forecast now, health, wealth, love, and destiny. One last note before we do that with the 10 of Wands. For me, 10 of Wands can also indicate a move. So if things haven't quite worked out just yet, I see something better on the horizon. So let's say you've been interviewing and you got rejected, or something's not working, or you put in money for a house, but you didn't get accepted. There's still something better on the horizon. We've got a 10 of Wands. Whatever that was around you, it wasn't the right match. So rejection is protection. I need to make up some merch. That would be one of them. Rejection is protection. So it's helping you avoid this. It's helping you see something that you don't need. Okay. So those are some other messages with respect to that. All right, let's move on to the expanded forecast. We're going to start with health. We have the instinct card here, the wolf. And for some of you, you may feel a little bit like a lone wolf right now. This could be a period because of the hermit card that we had in the past. Please, lights don't flicker right now because they flickered before. But for some of you, you may have had to go out on a journey. And this could almost be like wolf meets eight of cups, where you're ready to come back from that journey and share what you've learned. Follow your instinct on what you want to do next. What will make you happy? Also, because we're looking at your body here, instinct is like, this isn't right. I need to check in on this. Recently, my dog, I had to change his diet up a little bit. He didn't have the same hunger that he normally did. I had to go to like 3 or 4 different vets and then to a nutritionist, and then we changed it, and all of a sudden he's licking the bowl again. So I didn't know why, but I was like, something's up here. So I kept checking for him until we got it. Sometimes we feel the same things in our body. It's like, normally I feel this way, but this isn't happening. So I'm going to talk to the doctor and I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Capricorn, you're very good at that. You're able to sort of chip away. So this month, take an instinct, take a feeling, and go with it and figure out why it's coming through. It's based in something deeper, and you want to listen to that. Instinct is also, it's even more unavoidable than intuition. Instinct, you feel it in your bones. You feel it in the animal part of your brain, right? It's way there at the sort of like base of your skull. So if there's just something that you know, trust it. We have survival instincts for a reason, and the brain is kind of built on top of itself for a reason. So that survival stuff that you have there, you want to pay attention to it. I know that whenever I don't listen to the core animal instincts and also like the really raw intuition that I get, I always regret it. Oftentimes when I meet someone, I will know if they're going to be problematic or beneficial. And when I don't listen to it, it always ends up proving like that I should have avoided that person or that situation. So listen to your instinct. It's guiding you in the right place. Some of you may just be looking for companionship. We'll look at love in just a couple seconds here. But for now, I would say focus on healing yourself. Focus on listening to that internal part that's telling you what's right and what's wrong. We talked quite a bit about the 10 of Swords and 3 of Swords. So back pain, shoulder pain, heart health. But the good news here is that we see sort of like this rebuilding card here. We have 2 with the Tower and the 10 of Wands. So you're going to be able to get past whatever's going on here. You just have to kind of like deal with what's in front of you. So take a moment to do that. You're going to be okay. The other thing that I see for some of you is your mind is busy. We didn't get any sleep cards, but I'm picking up on this. Some of you may just have a hard time when you go to sleep, letting the mind shut down. Last night I turned on, if you have, let me mute it so she doesn't talk, Alexa, that Amazon device, or if you have anything where there's music like a library. I think Spotify might have it too. But you could have like the sounds of the forest or rain or river being played. And sometimes I do that if I want some white noise. I just listen to nature sounds, and all of a sudden I can kind of start to meditate. I imagine what it looks like, what it feels like, and like in a minute or two, I'm asleep. So if you're, depends where your Capricorn's placed, but because mine is in ascendant, it means that my thoughts can sometimes just go in that direction of overanalyzing things. So in that case, I would say try some white noise and see if that helps you. It could help with sleep. And of course, just overall emotional health is important. We sometimes overlook that. It's so weird. We will go to a chiropractor, we'll go to a general practitioner, we get our teeth cleaned, we go to all these types of doctors, but there's still a stigma on mental health. Take care of that. It's another checkup. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to go once a week or once a month or however often you need to go, because that's another part of the overall equation. So it's definitely coming through for some of you. You might have lost someone in your life. You might be dealing with a breakup, or you're just kind of not in your typical sort of emotional state. So whatever you need to do to find the balance, go for it. Those are the main things that are coming up for you. And just this sort of isolated energy that I'm getting with the Hermit card and the Wolf. So whatever you need to do to not feel alone, do that, okay? Let's move along to wealth. So wealth hits in different areas for all of you. If you're in school, it's sort of like, how am I feeling validated by this path? If you're working, it's fulfillment and also money. And if you're retired, it can be just general life purpose and how you're spending your time and energy. So I'll look at all those different aspects. Guess what came through on this one? Isolation. So for those of us that have been working off-site, like especially for those of you that were in a corporate environment before and then went remote, I actually know what it feels like, but I've been doing remote work now for like 6 years plus, 6 years and counting. I remember the first 2 or 3 months. It's so weird because I did it way ahead of the pandemic. It was like in 2015. I remember hearing the neighbors go to work and I felt guilty because I had quit my corporate job and I was deciding to sort of like do my own thing. And it's almost like you felt like I felt guilty or lazy or like what's going on, but I was rebuilding, I was doing other things, but I wasn't doing what was expected of me. And I felt like I always had to explain what I did. I still do sometimes because people don't understand like how YouTube works and what it is that I'm doing. But I finally stopped caring and I just kind of put my passion into what I wanted to do. But I found other ways. I found like, okay, I'm going to have to now connect with friends and family because I don't see them in the office. Because what I do is very remote. It's great to connect with all of you, but I have to go out and see people in real life too. So you are gonna, for those of you that have made the transition to remote work, figuring out how to connect is gonna be really important. For those of us in general that have been through the pandemic, and now we're seeing things opening up. It's not true in every country. Of course, India is having a really tough time right now. The UK, there's other parts of the world that are Vietnam. I know there's a lot of different places. It's kind of like one extreme or another. And that's kind of what we're feeling is like, what's going on? So finding the balance between, am I ready to do that? How do I still stay connected? We're all walking that tightrope together. So give yourself whatever support you need. It's coming through in career too. You're not alone. If we take it out of the emotional piece, here's the interesting thing. You want to show your true colors and like excel at this if you can. Some of us really like it. And I feel like some people hate this remote work. Some people love it. I actually love it because it gives you a lot of freedom and a lot of independence. For me, it's not the remote piece. It's the self-employment piece that I like the most, probably because I worked so long in a support role, helping other people or managing other people, that it's very empowering to not have to do that. So where can you find something that you like about maybe this independence that's in your life? Whether you're between jobs, going to school, working from home, or just feeling a little bit removed because we're not there, there's a chance now to figure out like, well, I guess the focus is back on me because I can't get distracted at the water cooler, because I can't get distracted at a regular meeting. I have to focus on the self-growth and the self sort of like fulfillment, right? Make sure that you're giving yourself a chance to kind of bubble up what your contributions are to your boss too. With the isolation comes less visibility. With less visibility comes challenges when it comes to, you know, getting to the next rung in the ladder, if that's what you're looking at. You might just want something bigger, a bigger sort of purpose in your career. I know for me, that was part of it too. At a certain point, if you're just going to meetings and looking at spreadsheets and clocking in and out, but it doesn't actually equate to something Like our life on this planet is finite. So you should really love some aspect of how you're spending your day. And if you're not, then this coming through is what you needed. It's the push that you needed to get out of there. So hopefully that helps you out. Let's look at what might be coming through for you this month. A very similar message between you and Sagittarius here. I'm going to just pull the camera down rather than pulling the cards up for this. If there's a change going on at your place of employment, then the Tower card is about saying, I want to do this, not this, or I want to make sure that when these changes happen, that you consider me for this. So it's throwing your hat in the ring. It's taking an active role and making sure that you're not left out of the discussion, that you're still at the table. The other thing that I see for some of you is you have some really great ideas. You have the experience to actually bring those ideas into fruition. But if you're not, if there's these are rejection cards too. So if you can't get what you need there, go somewhere else. You're going to succeed somewhere else. It's not so much you, it's actually them. It's the environment, because this is all in the environment. So I feel like for many of you, there's a chance to improve your situation if you want to stay or just get out of it, because Tower, 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords, I'd be running for the highway in some of these situations, depending on like what was going on there. So I feel like it's really time to reset. Something needs to be improved and rebuilt when it comes to what you have been doing. Where you can go from there is really only up with the 8 of Wands and the 10 of Wands. So I feel like there's some really great changes that can be made and some really great outcomes that can come through because of that. For some of you, you're just, it's kind of like you're odd man out or odd woman out because people don't understand your point of view. So go to a place where they get it. Go to a place where that's happening. If you are unemployed, it's about repackaging your skills and thinking of yourself in a different light. If you're retired, for some of you, there's just this wanderlust that's coming through, a desire to get out there, to talk, to explore again. There might be ways that you can do that in a smaller way. There's also an outreach energy with this 10 of Wands, one voice that can actually make a big difference too. So bigger, better, rebuilding, all of those things are what I'm seeing here. You didn't get any pentacles. We're going to have to look at that. It's been a common trend over the past couple of readings. So that's a missing piece here. And I want to look at that when we do the expanded forecast. Okay. So, or not the expanded forecast, but the soul path. So I think it's time to move up, to move on, to kind of like push out of this kind of block that you have right now. And you have what it takes. It's just a question of when. For many of you, you might be waiting until October for some reason. A lot of the times these 10 cards can be associated with that since you got 2 10s. So maybe you're waiting for a certain marker or vesting or something like that to happen. But don't wait forever. I want you to be happier than I see with the Tower, the 10 of Swords, and the 3 of Swords, because we have the Ace and the Page of Cups there. There's new things that want to come in. So let go of whatever isn't reciprocating, okay? Let's move on to everyone's favorite, relationships and love. So we have the Dahlia coming through, which is cool. It's sometimes a name of people too, Dahlia. The message at the bottom says dignity. Let me just read it. A wise man has dignity without pride. A fool has pride without dignity. Interesting. All right, so we're going to be looking at how somebody's making you feel, right? Because to me, dignity can also go into the self-confidence. So it can be very much the 5 of Pentacles. Are you feeling lifted or are you feeling weighted down? With the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords, for some of you, it is just that. It's sort of like, I have to move on to be happier here. Let's look at the 3 different types of relationship focus that you could have. So we'll start with those of you that are in a relationship, then I'll look at those of you that are seeking a relationship. And then for those of you that aren't really looking to sort of spend energy in love and relationship, but what's going to come of that anyway? I still look at all 3. All right, so if you're in love right now, then the most important thing here is communication. Because of the 10 of Swords in the environment, it may be hard for you or your partner to connect. We have the receptive cards, the Ace of Cups and the Page of Cups reversed. So both of you could be dealing with something that you're very passionate about. But the communicative card, the 10 of Swords, is showing that it goes towards a critical state, or you can't get past your emotions to see or hear what the other person's going through. So one or both of you just need some time to detox, to get to to sort of get the support that you need. You may need to separate. I mean, I literally saw it like torn in two. So sometimes you just might need some time to yourself. So taking a trip, spending time with family, maybe just on your own so that you can sort it out. You might need to go to a therapist, like I said, to kind of talk through this. Your partner just may be really stressed out. Doesn't mean that the relationship's going to go topsy-turvy. I see a really pivotal change on the horizon. Change can be exciting, but it can also bring out the worst. So let's say you're moving and it's going to be a really good move because the 10 of Wands card is great. But oh my God, you're going to fight over what to pack up, what to give away. You start to feel triggered because it's the last time you're going to be in this house or the last time you're going to see your neighbors. So this could just be emotional release because the rest of the spread's pretty good. So give yourself and your partner time to just sort of decompress and don't take anything too personally. Try to lift each other up, try to get to that next point, and it feels like you can move through it. But there's a change that's necessary in an existing relationship, a change of communication, a change of living situation, a power dynamic that needs to come more into balance, someone that needs to be able to see or hear your point of view. As long as you can, whatever one of those needs to be dealt with, as long as you allow that to happen, it'll be okay. If not, then you're going to kind of be in this area, and that's when you probably need to reach out for help. If you're looking for love, you definitely can find it this month. We have the Ace of Cups and we have the Page of Cups. Because the page is reversed, because both of these are reversed, the timing's off a little bit. So, and it may be someone that comes in at the most inconvenient time. You may just have lost someone. You may have just started or stopped a job. Things are messy, and someone came in, is what I see. The cool thing that I see here is that you'll be able to get your head on straight, or maybe this other person is bringing experience. And sometimes when we're not looking, it's exactly when you need that sort of shoulder to cry on or someone to support you. I would love for you to focus on getting yourself cleared up, though, because then you can see this person for who they truly are. You want to be able to really get through your sort of stuff so that it's just more fair to the person as well, because it's nicer to be able to kind of support each other. So deal with your emotional baggage. And if you get through that, yeah, you got the Ace and the Page. So I feel good about it. Emperor tells me there could be an age or experience difference between the two of you. Hermit tells me that there may have already been someone kind of pining after you for a while, actually. And maybe now you're just finally seeing them. Vice versa, you might just have the guts to sort of go out and talk to somebody. Either way, feels good to me. You just got to clean up your emotional side first and foremost. If you're not looking for love right now, you got a lot going on. So I feel like that's okay. You still have a very attractive energy. If you can start to see yourself as others see you, I think that'll be really key. I was watching an old movie the other night, and this woman didn't feel beautiful, and she received a photo from her mom. She's like, actually, she thought it was her sister, and it was like it was her. And so she changed her life, and she looked at herself differently. Sometimes we just need to see like an old snapshot, or we need to see that someone else sees us in a light that we couldn't imagine. And all of a sudden, that changes our perspective, right? So you have a chance right now to have a different perspective on yourself because other people see it. Do you see it? If you can see the beauty, all of a sudden, there'll be some big shifts in your life. So see the beauty that you have to offer, and that's the message there. Okay. Let's look now at your destiny cards. You've got two here, both reversed, but it doesn't matter here just because we're going to be focusing on how to embrace them. So we have the giraffe. The giraffe reminds me a lot of the tiger lily, the lily that kind of pops up and is really tall. It says, see the big picture, which is something that I talked about in your channeled messages. And sometimes you have to get your head up and above the sort of crowd. So if there's a group think that's going on, it's The Mirror Has Two Faces is the name of the film. Some of you know the film. Her mom, I forget, it was played by an old actress, basically reminded her of her internal beauty. So I can tell we have some fans there. I was watching it last night. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it. Mirror Has Two Faces. She was shown a picture of herself, and she thought that was her sister. And it's like, no, you were the cute one, or you're still the beautiful one. So we sometimes we see ourselves through a warped lens. We're always so much more critical on ourselves. So that's why this giraffe is kind of coming out and saying, no, look up, look around, look at who's looking at you. Because the hermit could be a secret admirer. I don't often read the hermit that way, but it definitely could be a secret admirer because it's clandestine. So you got to look around. Someone likes you out there. And also getting back into the Capricorn ascendant energy of focusing on long-term goals. I think this is really important. Cute giraffe too. They're fun animals whenever you look at them. Anyway, don't be afraid of you. For those of you that might be really tall or really short, don't focus on that. Nobody else cares because the giraffe stands out. So for those of you that are self-conscious about height or shape or whatever, be like the giraffe and just be proud and tall and who you are. Guess what? We got 2 scarabs. This was really interesting that this popped out. Different decks, but this says magic works through you. Yes, it does. Notice how both of these scarabs have their wings open. This one nearly open, and this one is definitely flying. So this is time for you to take flight. What a powerful symbol of reincarnation and rebirth. That's why the Egyptians loved it so much. I mean, anyway, for those of you that geek out and either have a past life in Egypt or just really kind of connect with this, the scarab beetle, the dung beetle, is a really powerful symbol. Again, coming from I like dung beetles, and I also like the lotus blossoms because they have to come through the muck. They have to come through the dirt for better things to happen. It's not always about crystal pristine stuff. Like, we have to kind of work through all the levels, and the soul is multifaceted. And the dung beetle is saying, you can get through this too. You will get through this too. All right. Let's go ahead now and do a quick recap. So if you missed the beginning, you're in luck. Even if you were here, I usually get new information as I do this. So stick around. We'll do a recap here at like 3 to 5 minutes. Then we're going to go a little deeper. And let me write down these thoughts because I always like to remember them. I want to take a look at the resources since we didn't really see the resources. And I want to also take a look at how to kind of heal through some of these 3 of Pentacles, Tower, I'm sorry, 3 of Swords, 10 of Swords, and the Tower energy. So I just want to look at healing overall, and then we'll see what we see, and we'll see what comes through in the sort of wild card after that. All right. So your triple totem today was the tiger lily, the daylily, and the sun. Tiger lilies are like the giraffe. They stand really tall. The daylilies last longer. They have the same color. Both of these have little spots on them, which was interesting, which is why it was kind of hard for me to discern if it was tiger or daylily. But I kind of like the energy between this. This is ephemeral. This is long lasting. And the sun, of course, is our power and is the glue that keeps things together. So all of these messages are strong for you this month. All right, so tiger lilies, like I said, are perennials. One thing that's cool with this is it's cyclical. Because we're coming into summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, this is really about your chance to grow, your chance to spread your wings, your chance to bloom. Since we saw the 2 scarabs, all of that comes through. The black spots can also be about grounding energy, so it's a good time to focus on that. Bold, conspicuous, really in your face, like the giraffe. And so it's important for you to be able to show all of your colors, I would say. We focused a little bit here on the tiger. And one thing that I like to think of as a strength card, even though it can be tiger or lion, but it's about your power, your strength, your voice, which we'll talk about here, I think, in the next card after this. It's also associated with healing the sacral, the sexual chakra, where we hold our expressive energy, and that's going to help you in all aspects of your life. The intimacy issues that may come through this month, remember that it's not just your body, it's your emotional side, it's your intellectual side, and yes, it can be your physical side as well. And don't be afraid to share dreams and desires with the people that you love. I think that's a really important piece as well to showing who you are and being able to be in a healthy relationship. Speak, act, decide, and think for yourself. Increase that healing and self-confidence, okay? The daylilies reminded me of the embers in the fire that we can always go back and rebuild on. So with the rebuilding card here that we saw, the tower, remember that when this is all kind of like said and done, there's still the embers of the fire. You can still start again. I like to sometimes talk about the never-ending story where they just have one grain of sand and one wish can be enough to start the new world. Same thing here. One little ember can start a new fire. So you want to have some sort of long-term passion in your life as well, something that you can look forward to every day. And that's another piece that comes through with that. Focus on the big goals on the horizon. This is exactly what the giraffe said. Reset your current path and align to that goal if you haven't already. We're starting the solstice today, so whether it's the beginning of summer or the beginning of fall or whatever for you, then this is, or winter, I guess. What you want to be focusing on right now is it's a beginning. And let's focus on the solar energy that came through as well, because with the sun comes power, with the sun comes birthing, new beginnings, and also it's associated with the divine masculine. So it's actually appropriate that for whatever reason, Father's Day fell right here on a solstice. And for some of you, this could bring back energy or memories from the past, whether you need to heal or celebrate and cherish the divine masculine in your life. You can do that. You can also bring forth the divine masculine energy within and take action on things. So that means goals, dreams, projects, everything deserves your time and attention right now. So feel free to invest it as you feel, as you see fit. I saw an image of you or someone in your life that was kind of separated into two pieces, almost like right along the solar plexus. And there was this sort of message from the guides and the friends around that person to not do it. It feels like this could be boundaries. It could be you being torn into two directions. It could be someone that's just moving away from you and you're trying to hold on to that. There's some sort of separation. There's some sort of release that needs to happen. One thing that was a block was the ability to listen, to take feedback in. So definitely stay open. Don't make things harder than they need to. It's easier said than done, right? But try to just sort of allow the change to happen in your life and be open. I think the main thing is to listen, to sleep on it. That's going to help. We did get Ace of Cups here. I'd like to see the Ace of Pentacles. It's missing. I said that, like, to be open to love and abundance. If you have any sort of issue that wasn't dealt with, karmic cycles are coming to an end. So you may be dealing with just sort of like damage control. There's no better word for it. So you're just going to find a way to be honest, to be open, and to talk about the things that you need to. Acceptance plays a big role this month. Accepting yourself, accepting others, understanding that they have limits in their life. They may have not had the same sort of opportunities that you did, and accepting their flaws, and understanding that maybe there's a point where there's only so much you can do to support them, like Humpty Dumpty, which we talked about. Sometimes there are things that just need to sort of like fall out of your life so that you can focus on other things. Ultimately, I love that the heart of this spread is the Emperor, and it's the solar sort of energy that we were just talking about. So you still have what it takes this month to walk away maybe better than you felt when it started. So, we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks. So whether you're watching this in June or July, we're looking at the next sort of cycle, the next 6 to 8 weeks for you. It feels like you are going to reclaim power. You're going to have a better vision of what's going on. Sometimes this little eye that we see here comes through disappointment, but you've got it no matter how it comes through. You have a lot that you can do this month. Don't get distracted by some of this, because I really want to see some of this happen. We've got the 8 of Wands here, which is going to lead you to the 10 of Wands, which is ascension. So good things on the horizon, distractions in the periphery. Keep your mind, keep your heart in the right place. Could have a secret admirer here with the Hermit. It's also time to come out of your shell. She spoke up in a big way at the beginning with the lights flickering. I was nervous that the internet was going to go out, but it stayed, thank goodness. So take some action this month. 4 of Cups. You may either see a bigger purpose. Someone else may be able to see something. Explore a little bit. Look around. I think it's going to be key for you. Ace of Cups and Page of Cups, both reversed. There's some offers coming in. Are you willing and able to see it? Are you limiting yourself? Just like that example that I talked about from The Mirror Has Two Faces, where someone couldn't see that they were beautiful all along, or couldn't see that they were willing and ready to kind of, well, they weren't willing, but they were able to receive. So open yourself up to receive, because I see things kind of knocking on the door for you. And I feel like you have to work through some of the changes in your life first in order to kind of see that, maybe the changes within. Change of living situation, change of diet, change overall, but an active change that you're going to participate in, one that will help you get past pain or disappointment, one that's going to help you find your power and to rise again. Looking at health, trust what you feel in all situations, whether it's, should I go work here? Should I eat this food? Do I need to change up my exercise routine, whatever. Your body is speaking to you. Listen to that and follow that. We have the lone wolf, which came through the sadness and isolation here, also in the wealth card. But before we go through that, I want to say for some of you with health, focus on chronic pain, focus on spinal health, focus on heart health and blood health as well, making sure that you're just taking care of your body. With respect to, well, one last thing, actually, whatever you do, I see a marked improvement. So if you take some action, you're going to see a definite improvement. So focus on the 10 of Wands as your goal on that. For work, it's really about making sure that you're connecting with others, finding a way to shine, even if you're not being seen by each and every person. Understanding that sometimes rejection is actually protection, and it's getting you away from this more towards this. We want the 10 of Wands, not the 10 of Swords. And if you're feeling like you're done with something, give yourself permission to move on. It's okay. You don't have to stay put forever and ever. Dignity is going to play a big role. Are people lifting you up? If they're not, time to lift yourself into a better situation with respect to love. Love can definitely come through this month, but things are a little messy. So clean up the messes. You might be surprised who is admiring you and ready to help you out. I definitely saw love and support for you. So it's just a question of if you're ready to receive it. Be bold, be strong, be geeky, be yourself, whoever you are, be that. The giraffe spirit is gently reminding you that and saying, focus on the big picture as well. It's too internal. It's time to get out of the hermit and into the giraffe energy. And the scarab beetle, again, coming through, reincarnation, rebirth, rising above the rubbish, above the sort of fertilizer and growing, okay? So really cool messages coming through for your sign. A lot of growth, a lot of movement. I'm going to help you now with that because we did get some heavier cards with the Tower, the 10 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. So let's pull a clarifier and ask how you can work through the healing. I'll look at resources second. I want to focus on healing first. So let me just write a message to myself there. Okay, so we're going to focus on the healing first and see what's coming through. How can we work through changes, through healing, through that uncertainty that we all feel from time to time? The Hierophant, okay. This is an interesting card, not what I would expect. So with the Hierophant, for some of you, it feels like you need to create some sense of a habit or a structure in your life. So when everything changes, as it often does with Tower or Tower reversed, we need something that we can depend on. In order to release something in our life, we need a life raft. We need something. So for you, I want you to focus on creating a new routine. Change the old one and create something new, and then stick with that. Because there is something habitual with the Hierophant, which is like, this is a habit, this is a structure, this is something I'm going to do, and I'm going to try it for a while. I'm going to try it and see if I like it, like a shirt. Let's try it on. So create a new structure in your life. And lo and behold, here we have with the Hierophant, it's a leadership card. When you start to try, for some of you, it could just be using your voice. Maybe just having your own business, like I was talking about, entrepreneurial stuff. People are interested in whatever it is you want to offer. We have a couple of people here that are interested. Notice that the key is always there at your feet too. You have what it takes. You may also be kind of butting up against structure in your life because we have all of these cards of movement, especially with the Tower. And this would be coming forth with an entirely different paradigm. It's a paradigm shift. So if this is innovation. So for those of you that might be like, what am I trying? An engineer, an inventor. You're coming up with something new. It will hit you at the weirdest time. So just be open and then go with that intuitive flow. Mathematicians, same sort of thing. Scientists, you still work with intuition. You would just think of it as an epiphany. There's potato, different words. So you're going to pull together all of these things, and all of a sudden you're able to, it locks together and you see a different way. And just like any theory has to be proven, at the beginning there may be a lot of criticism, but then it eventually becomes something that we embrace and accept. So you could just be creating a new sort of paradigm, a new path to something that people don't expect. So it's, unfortunately, what the cards are showing me is that you still may have to just deal with the mess and kind of feel like I'm going to be okay. I have to stand strong and I have to stand tall because change is uncomfortable. So my guides are kind of saying, you will be okay. Just keep pushing and trust in that bigger vision. Let's look at the resource cards, which are missing. So Spirit, please show us how and why we can pull in more resource and abundance. We did get the Ace of Cups, and it is like a satellite, and the dish was reversed. So part of that message is just be open and be aware. And the giraffe is saying, look up and look around, just like the Four of Cups. So beyond those messages, what else do we need to focus on? King of Cups. So people in your life, and it's upright, thankfully, people in your life are there to support you. I saw it in the dream. So there is an offer for those of you that might be looking for finances. Someone could be there to either say, oh, I know a job. Would you like me to take your information and pass it on? Or it could be love. I know someone that you should meet. Let's come to my party. I know how I could help. I want to help you. Will you accept my help? Someone's offering you something. Take the offer. Through this offer comes the abundance. It's coming through a place of love. And I saw that even in my dream last night. Someone wants to help. Feels like there's no strings attached. You can discern, trust your instinct. You know you better than anyone else. So trust your instinct. And if you like that person, that's the connection. There's a connection. One person will bring you to the resources. King of Cups energy, creative, loving, giving. Makes sense that this would be the conduit. So there you go. All right. That's the answer. It's one person, then the resources, then the opportunity. Let's look at the next piece. Okay, now we want to do a wild card and see if there's something we missed. And after the meditation, I'll answer your question, which you'll silently send to me. But first things first, let's look at your wild card. What else do you need to focus on that I haven't looked at or I haven't picked up on just yet? Six of Wands, love the Six of Wands. Okay, it's reversed, but as you know, the Six of Wands is really positive. I like this one because it's kind of like you have everything that you need right there in your hands. So let's look closely at this. We see some dice because you're gonna sometimes have to take a calculated risk, exactly the message that I gave to yesterday's reading when I was reading for Sagittarius, or Fridays rather. I also like that we see like a coin here, a daisy, growth, investment, and then the nest is also, what are you building for yourself? Notice in this deck, I think that, is it Rachel True? Anyway, I don't know if she illustrated it or who illustrated it for her, but the designer and the illustrator of the deck, they kind of show wands as a cognitive thing too. Like it's something that you can think up. So with the Six of Wands, success is always in your head. It can get in your head too for the right or wrong reasons. So if you see yourself on the precipice, the path, or the connection to success, you're going to be fine. If you're doing this for yourself, you're going to be fine. If you're trying to figure out what other people want, that's oftentimes where we get tripped up and it's not always as successful as it could be. So for you, focus on the creative energy, focus on putting together the secret sauce, and know that standing out is going to be part of the success for you. You're not supposed to blend in. And successful people rarely do. When you think of models, athletes, politicians, whatever, it's the crazier and the sort of bolder and the more gregarious, they're the ones that are memorable. There is a fine line between fame and infamy, but with this, I want you to just focus on what you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it, and trust that it is an attractive card so that your tribe will find you, whether that's 3 people, 6 people, 600 people, it doesn't matter. You have the whole world in your hands and you have the ability to bring that forth, okay? So I like this. It's saying, don't worry, it's all working out and you're already there. The keys are there. Are you using the keys? And I think that's the key thing, all right? So let's talk about what's coming next here in the reading. We're going to do a quick meditation. It'll be like 2 minutes. And then I want you to think about, as I'm doing the meditation, it's going to be solar, by the way, since we're in the solstice energy today. But after that, I want you to think of a question that I haven't yet answered. It can be about love. It can be about life. Just meditate on that as well. And then I will pull a card after that. Quickly, before I do that, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, it's a great time to do so. It'll help you find me. The algorithm works in mysterious ways. This is the equivalent of follow, even though it says subscribe. So you're not signing up for anything. It's just like following someone on Instagram. So if you can do that, do that. If you've already done it, thank you. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, consider doing that. It looks like we've got like 1/3 of the people that have liked it. So if you can hit the thumbs up once, it helps people discover it. And then later, if you watch this on replay, just leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, let's move into the meditation. Oh, one last thing. I showed this earlier, but if you'd like to follow me on social media, please do so, because I actually post all those handwritten cards on these social media platforms. So on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I will post links to a picture of what I posted here earlier, so that you can, or what I wrote. So I use the story feature as well on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to remind you, and the community tab here. And Twitter, it's Ashbaugh. Everywhere else, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh. And you can go to my pinned link for all that information. One quick note before we get into the meditation as I get set up. I recently had someone on Instagram pretend to be me. This happens, it feels like, especially for tarot readers, it's happening at least once a month. So just a couple of notes. I'm never going to ask you for information, and I'm never going to directly message you on any platform. This is really just people that are trying to take advantage of others. So this is the way to connect with me. Show up on one of my live readings. You can chat. I'll see you. I do Instagram lives as well sometimes. Good way to know if it's me, because I'll be talking. So basically, unless it's a live, I wouldn't pay attention to anybody that's messaging you. I would never ask or present any products or services as well in any of those direct messages. So don't use DMs, just follow me, connect in these live readings, and you'll be fine. Let's go ahead now and meditate. I want to imagine the dawn of a new day. And I really like this 10 of Wands card. So let's work with a beetle if you're comfortable with it. You can kind of look at it more symbolically. You could imagine that it's a gigantic beetle and you're riding on its back if you'd like to. So what I want you to see is that it's beautiful and iridescent. We get a little bit of that iridescence here. So imagine that this is a sacred, energetic beetle that's going to bring healing powers, transformational powers. And if you want to imagine that there's like a little saddle or something on the back that you can sit on so you're safe, you can imagine that. So see yourself on the back of this gigantic beetle with like this sort of marbly surface with all the different sort of swirling colors, if you've ever seen an iridescent one. And as the sun starts to rise up on the horizon, the beetle opens up its wings, and you're going to spend this meditation kind of flying towards the sun in the distance, bringing you not into the sun itself, but imagine there's an island or something that you're trying to build on the horizon. It's the original message that I had for you. See yourself going there, and imagine what you're being shown on the way. Ask your guides for information on how to get there faster, how to bring in more abundance, and also to kind of see what it looks like. Imagine that as you get closer, it feels exciting, that you can palpably feel what you're creating in your life. I'm going to play the singing bowl for a minute, and then we will get into the next part of the reading. So just relax and imagine that this is a really nice feeling. It's almost like your feather in the wind, just floating towards that beautiful rising sun. In the distance, you can feel the warmth and radiance wrap around you, and you're on the wings of this iridescent cosmic beetle. Take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, imagine that the beetle is landing at your destination. Take a moment to place your hand on the back of the beetle and one on your heart, and feel that you can connect with the regenerative, restorative, and even sort of like the energy of reincarnation, rebuilding that's coming through with this beetle, which is very, very important for the next sort of chapter of your life. And you can take that other hand and place it on your heart and watch as the beetle flies towards the sun, bringing you a blessing, bringing you a change, bringing you an internal shift within. Now, I'm going to pull an extra card here, and all I'd like you to do now is to think about whatever question you might have for me that I haven't yet looked at. Is there something going on with work? Is there something going on with respect to your personal life? What's going on right now that you need some additional insight in? And just hold it in your mind for a few moments here as I shuffle the cards and see what's coming through. If you just joined, don't worry. You can always watch this immediately afterwards on replay. So you stick around for this final card and we'll see what's coming through for you. So hold the question in your head. I'll do my best to look and see if it's a yes, no, or if it needs more clarification. 5 of Pentacles, which is something that I saw earlier for you guys. Okay, so the 5 of Pentacles is a perspective card. And the important thing here is that you have even more than you imagined. So think bigger is my message for you when I see this. So if there's something that you want to do, you could be seeing part of the picture, but it could be limited. There could be an even bigger way to make something happen than you might imagine. See beyond the boundaries that others have placed on you, the sort of stipulations, any of the sort of fears or doubts. Because this is Father's Day, this card can be about letting go of drama, trauma, or anything that you've associated with your parents, especially your dad, and realizing that you're a different person and you're able to just surprise other people. Only you know you. So we actually see a hand reaching out for one of those pentacles, and I can only imagine that it's just like an ace. I was looking for that Ace of Pentacles because we got the Ace of Cups. So this is your chance to take that and build it and make something more. And because we have the 6 of Wands here, that's maybe the missing piece, is to reclaim something lost from the past and just say, you know what, I'm going to do this time and be really successful. These crows in here can sometimes be people that everyone has an opinion, right? You really just need to focus on what you see, what you know, what's going on when it's sort of like the creation of something sacred. This can also be talking about that closed-mindedness when you're stretching yourself too thin. So with the 5 of Pentacles, I want to see more for you. If this is a job offer, it's okay, but I feel like you should negotiate for more if you can, or it's not the long-term answer to whatever you're trying to do. You usually are selling yourself short with the 5 of Pentacles, and it usually comes through people in the past that made you feel or think that you were less than you are. So I'm telling you, you're more than you imagine, and that whatever's in front of you is just the beginning, and there should be more coming through for you. So don't sell yourself short. Don't limit your thoughts or your possibilities. If people are offering something, really think like, why am I not open to receive the abundance that's wanting to come through? And I think if you can do all of that, you can amp this up. I want to see this as 6 of Pentacles. So I would say that it's a not yet or a no or a yes with a lot of modifications. It just feels like it could be a little bit better. So the timing's off. There needs to be a little bit, something needs a better match. I want to see a little bit better match for you. So let's just we'll review everything and then we'll wrap up here. So when I was looking at your healing, this was about creating, in the midst of change, sometimes we need something that we can rely on. So something new, a rock, a lifeboat that you can have as you navigate the waters of change, figuratively speaking. And then looking at resources, it's coming through, but again, are you ready to receive? There's a person that is like the gatekeeper to kind of help you to that next point. Whether you're looking for love, looking for a job, or looking for enlightenment, it feels like there's one person that kind of will help you connect to the next big thing. And then success is within reach. Don't overthink it. Don't listen to all of the criticism from others. Know that you have most of what you need And for some reason, a lot of the receiving cards are in the opposite direction. So open up to what's coming through, and then don't be afraid to ask for more. Maybe that's how I would sum this up. So if there's a contract negotiation, it doesn't hurt to ask for a little bit more. You don't have to make it an ultimatum. Just say, that's not what I've researched. This is low. You're lowballing me. How about this? Go a little higher, see if you can meet. You'd be surprised sometimes. And then if you price your own products and services, make sure that they're reasonable, that you're recovering the costs of operations and materials. I want to see more. This is break even, and I want to see 6 of Pentacles, which is just a little bit more than. Okay, those are the messages that came through for you today. I hope that you enjoyed today's reading. I know I did. Really magical day because like I said, Mercury going direct real soon. We have the paternal energy coming through with Father's Day, also the sun energy as well coming through and blessing that with the solstice. So a lot of positive celestial and energetic opportunities for you to kind of like tap into and change. One more time here, if you haven't already followed me on social media, here are all my links. You can just click on the pinned comment and everything you need is right there. So go for that if you'd like to. Again, one more chance, if you haven't subscribed to do that, and if you haven't liked to do that, the bell is a great way to get notifications. Subscribing doesn't obligate you to anything. It's just a way to follow me. Thank you to everyone who just gave me super stickers, super chats. I'll continue to create some new cards, buy some new cards and create some new videos with all of that. So thank you. You can applaud if you would like to on replay. And thank you also to the members. I saw a lot of members here today, and I appreciate all of you that have clicked to join. You can do that through that little $ as well. If you enjoy like a good story, sci-fi fantasy, for those of you that maybe read Lord of the Rings or Dune as a kid, I have written a book as well, and it's called The Luminous Ones. It's not everyone's cup of tea because it is a longer read. You can go to my website for information on that, but if you do enjoy those sort of longer reads, then take a look and see if it's something you'd like. Otherwise, I just appreciate your love and support here. Let me see if I still have my upcoming readings here. Let's see. I'm going to cut and paste the 2 upcoming collectives that are one at the end of this week, actually, on Friday, and one next Sunday. On Monday, I'll be doing Aquarius, and on Thursday, I'll be doing Pisces. So lots of readings coming up in the week ahead. You're welcome to come to all of them. I hope to see you there. And thanks again to everyone for showing up today. Happy Father's Day to the fathers out there. Happy solstice to anyone that is doing some sort of a ritual to celebrate solstice. And happy Sunday to everyone else. It's great to see you. Thanks to Maria for her help in moderating, and thanks to everyone for showing up. Much love and light. Apollo is awake and just taking a little nap in the background. We're going to go for a walk next. So thanks, everybody. I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.